Anytime you're ready.
My name is Stephanie Reed.
I'm Isabella Reeves.
I'm Kieran Heffernan.
Okay, so whether or not you're aware of it, you've most likely been exposed to some form of virtual reality at some point in your life. If you've used a Snapchat lens or played the game Pokemon Go, those are all examples of augmented reality. So the term augmented reality was coined by a researcher named Tom Cudell in 1990. So augmented reality is a computer-generated interactive experience with the real-world environment.
So this is our tutorial, and we each did a different form of AR, and we just put them all together.
Using augmented reality technology, this app, Wayfair, allows you to place furniture in your room without actually going to the store. Let's check it out.
Okay, so this is a screen recording that I did. You basically sign up as a guest or log in, and you can kind of pick what kind of furniture you're going for. In this example, I think I chose a chair. So you can go, they have all different types, different price points. You click the one that suits your style, and then you click View in Room 3D. And you kind of tilt the lens and kind of find a surface to put the furniture on. It's a little tricky at first, but then you kind of get the hang of it. It shows you all the different dimensions of the furniture item, and then you can place it in different spots to see how it would look. Got a little trouble, but you get the point. Could really imagine it anywhere in the room. With all the dimensions. And once you find where you want it, you can use that button and take a picture, and it saves how it'll look. And you can either purchase it or save it.
So yeah, the one app that I did was AR Sports Basketball. As you can see the tutorial that we handed out. Basically, you have to move it around and adjust for a surface. Then it'll come up right there. It'll give you some hints to get it better, and then you can you can shoot. Basically, it has little factors like your current score and the high score that you have, so you can keep track of your progress. And right there in the top right is like a little combo that keeps track of like how many you've hit in a row, stuff like that. I've used it a couple times in this class. I'm not gonna lie. There's a bunch of different ones that it'll keep your attention off, and that's kind of the future of technology.
So the main goal of augmented reality is to enhance a person's perception of the natural world, as well as create a system where users cannot easily differentiate between the real world and an augmentation of it. So augmented reality is basically about looking out into the world. So you have a camera taking in information, and that brings in something that is called computer vision. And what computer vision does is it translates information so that users could easily understand it and be up to speed. And this is also being implemented in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. All the street signs in Tokyo are augmented, so it can be translated over to being augmented reality was first achieved to some extent by In 1957, the device that he created was used to deliver sound, vibration, and smell to users, but it wasn't as functional. So the first functioning AR device was developed by a man named Louis Rosenberg in 1999, and it was called the virtual fixture. The virtual fixture is an overlay of augmented sensory info on the real-world environment, and it was used to improve human performance in both direct and human-created tasks. So since the first introduction of AI in 1957, there has been many other advances. In 1999, AR was first introduced to theater production, and in 1998, it was shown in the first NFL football game. And there have been many others since. It's also being implemented in the military as well as in surgery.
Okay, so although our presentation is focused on augmented reality, I kind of want to touch upon the differences between virtual reality and augmented reality because they can easily be confused. So virtual reality technology blocks off the user's perception of the real world, and augmented reality, on the other hand, complements the user's vision of the real world with digital overlays of information. AR allows people to add digital elements into their actual environment. Like Stephanie said, some examples are Pokemon Go, some social media apps such as Instagram and Snapchat, and even companies like the NFL have used AR. These are just two short videos of the difference between VR and AR. So the one on the left is VR, and you can see that it kind of takes everything, and you need a headset for that, whereas AR, it kind of takes your environment and adds things to it. Yeah, and this is just another quick video.
I'm looking at screens. Computers, smartphones, and televisions are a big part of our lives. They're how we get most of our news, use social media, watch movies, and more. Virtual reality and augmented reality are two technologies changing the way we use screens, creating new and exciting interactive experiences. Virtual reality, also known as VR, uses a headset with a built-in screen that displays a virtual environment for you to explore. These headsets use a technology called head tracking, which allows you to look around the environment by simply moving your head. Augmented reality, or AR, is a bit different. Instead of transporting you to a virtual world, it takes digital images and layers them on the real world around you. This is done through the use of either a clear visor or a smartphone. So with VR, you could explore a world full of dinosaurs. But with AR, you could see those dinosaurs moving through the world around you. Both of these technologies are growing at a rapid pace and being implemented in a variety of different ways. Surgeons are using VR to practice highly technical surgeries before operating. Businesses are using them to give consumers virtual tours of products and locations. There are even apps that can use your smartphone's camera to scan and translate a foreign language in real time. As they continue to grow, VR and AR have the potential to greatly change almost every industry. You'll want to keep an eye on them to see how they might soon affect your job and potentially your everyday life.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunity.
So basically, AR adds things to the existing world, and VR changes the world that you're in. Billions of consumers already own AR devices, whether you believe it or not, and that is actually your smartphone. Retailers like Wayfair in the tutorial that I did before are taking advantage of this technology by letting shoppers see how their home would look without actually going to buy it at the store. So there are different types of augmented reality. The first is recognition-based AR, which uses a camera and some type of visual marker such as QR 2D code. Another example would be like a barcode to produce a result only when the marker is sensed by the reader, then your augmentation will come to life. The second type is location-based AR, which is the most common form of AR, and it uses a GPS, digital compass, and velocity meter. It's embedded in the device to provide artificial light onto the real world surfaces, allowing for human interaction by sending light onto any surface. So you could use in that picture like a keyboard. And the fourth type of AR is superimposition-based AR, and this provides an alternate view of the object by replacing the entire view with an augmented view. And an example of this would be in medicine, where a doctor can use this technology for an X-ray of the patient's broken arm on a real image to provide a clear understanding of what the damage looks like.
So, as you already discussed, phones are one of the common ones that everybody has in terms of AR, but a new, somewhat similar to virtual reality, things like headsets, like I'm sure everybody here has heard of Google Glass and stuff like that, where people can go around with certain headsets or small things that you can use AR type things to use. The components of this new technology are the sensors and cameras, projection, as Bella said, processing power, and then the reflection component that all go into the making of the headset. So the first aspect is sensors and cameras. Basically, throughout different ones you can put on, like I said, for Google Glasses, say if you're going around in like location-based things, it'll recognize your location through the cameras, it'll check a certain database and interpret that so that it can relay information back to you on the glasses. And yeah, like it says here, it takes info online and then checks a database to know where you are in the world and then give you information back. The next thing is projection. This is called an Oculus Rift. Actually, it's sort of a combination between VR and AR. The Rift you can use for like gaming and stuff like that for VR, but you can use it for AR as well because you can go around because it has a projection feature where you can put it on and actually see through the little thing in front of the lenses right there. It has an outward-facing position to display the things that you can see, and then essentially it gives you an interactive environment, somewhat like AR, but in order for the thing to function, it needs to display it outward and recognize the rest of your surroundings. Processing power of these new components are very important. As a bunch of you iSchoolers already know, there are components such as CPU, GPU, flash memory, RAM, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and GPS chips in almost every single new AR device. Depending on what the actual function of that different gear is, it'll be specified and have different features. So like for the Google Glass thing I was talking about earlier, it will have much stronger or better processing power for a GPS chip and flash memory. Whereas if you're doing things like the Oculus Rift and you're connecting to Wi-Fi, you're playing a game, and you're using other apps where you have to interact with the internet, you're going to have better processing power for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And then the last component of these new AR gears would be reflection. Like I was saying earlier, with projection, these two things kind of go hand in hand. For this one, it's more obvious that you can see through. Like I said, mirrors are essential in order to actually see through and show you on your glasses if you're using those. Or for those, like it'll come onto your screen, and then it'll also adjust and relate to your setting in order to actually use it. Depending on the type of gear, there could be different kinds of mirrors, so that's just one type. There's another one where it comes over the top of your head, and it's not necessarily on your eyes, but it's right in front of you, so it can do different things. Yeah, and this is just our final a online infographic on the new uses of AR and VR. Like I said, like we've said throughout the presentation, there's different things such as recognition and trackability where you can use it, and it's an expanding field. Like the video had said earlier, the new technologies that are being developed give you the opportunity to use AR and